So another project, you can probably tell by the title what it's going to be about, but there's a funny way we're coming about it. But anyway, firstly, update. Tile and grout came up really good with that Ryobi power scrubber thing. It's never looked. I won't show you because I've already shown it in the other video, the tile and grout video. Hopefully that comes out first before this one. But anyway, you'll see it in the tile and grout video. But yeah, it's never looked as clean as it did after scrubbing it. It's a bit of an effort though. That's the only thing. But the brush worked really good, so I highly recommend those brushes. The power scrubber, battery operated scrubbing brush, collapsible pole. So you could easily do your gutters. I'll probably actually looking at that now. That awning there needs a good. Probably sell the watermarks on it. Mix up a bit of a solution and give that a clean with that same brush. So yeah. What else is there? It's been pretty quiet actually. Not a lot going on. I'm trying to remember what we've done. Remote control planes was last weekend. You'll see the video. I didn't really take a lot of footage. It wasn't as good as what the previous ones that I've been to. It was just normal remote control planes. That the previous ones I've been to were, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 meter wingspan F-16s, F-8, a lot of military jets. I think I did mention it in that video. I think those jet boys had a bit of a fallout with the club because when they fly, they take over they only want to go one at a time. I can understand, like if you clean up a plane, those jets are worth like 30 grand, and if you clean up like $1,000 plane, that's your 30 grand plane done. So they kind of took over when they were there. They took over the airfield and they just wanted to be one at a time, which is fair enough. So they might have moved to a different club. I'm not sure. We've got another one north, this one, and then another one south. I'm sure there's other ones, but the three main ones that would take big planes like that. Yeah, so they might have had a bit of fallout, but anyway. Yeah, not important, but anyway. So there's some people at the park fixing the light. The light hasn't worked for a long time. I had a bit of a whinge to the council about a month ago now. They were just getting... Yeah, don't ever buy a house opposite a park. I think they're still there. They've been there for like an hour already. Yeah, I thought it was just a blown light bulb, but they've started tracing the power with that tool that you can see it under the ground. Let's have a look, see if it's still here. Yeah, he's still there. It just attracts... there's some young kids that live up the road. They go there and start kicking and demolishing the park. I've seen them doing wheeze down the slide, and then kids go down the next day, you know. They bring their music there at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. It just attracts idiots. And then that light stopped working. Then there was a family that lives... I think they live up that way. And every night at 10 o'clock, must be when they finish work at a restaurant or something like that, they'd all walk up here, top of their voice, and go and sit at the park for an hour. I didn't really whinge about it. I got a torch that's like 30,000 lumens. Shone the torch on them, and then they haven't been back since. So that's good. And they've programmed the sprinklers actually to come on at like 9 o'clock now, 9 or 10. So that kind of clears everybody out of there. It's just a pain. I know it's a public park, but at 10, 11 o'clock on a weeknight, there's just no need to be making that much noise, but it happens all the time. It's a bit quieter in winter, but in summer it's not very good. But anyway, talking about pests. Yeah, talking about things that you don't want. I've got one of these. These are good. They're from Bunnings. So all it is, I'll turn it on so you can see. So UV light, which I doubt is even... Oh, actually it is UV, because when you have this on and it's a very dark room, anything white lights up purple. So it is UV. So all good. I don't know if you can hear it. So let's just... call it 50. I just saw 6. Oh, that was me talking. Yeah, 50 dB. So I know it doesn't sound very loud at the moment, but when you're trying to sleep and this is the only thing in your room making a noise, it is loud. It's pretty loud, and it doesn't really matter. It's the fan. it's it doesn't get any quieter by taking all this out. So what I was thinking, I was actually going to pull this apart and replace the fan in it, but it looks like it's all moulded. I don't know why they just didn't put a quiet fan in this thing. I don't get it. But anyway, so that's 50 dB. We have to remember that number because when we finish making a new one, it'll be a good test. So bought a fan. Let's try what this is. Obviously it's going to be probably louder. Oops, because... But that is near on silent. .41. It's 10 dBs quieter, and that's on high. I probably wouldn't even run it on high. Probably medium is about the same speed. .39, 40. So pretty good. So yeah, what I want to do is make my own one by using some parts out of this and my own parts. So I definitely want to use this because this works good. So this is the catcher. So all it does is, I'd say the UV light attracts mosquitoes. Mosquitoes come next to it, get sucked in through the fan, down here, and then they can't come back out. And it works. I'll show you a picture. Okay, so I didn't even say what. This is not for outside, it's for our bedroom. For some reason, I don't know why, we get mosquitoes. We have to put up with it all summer in our bedroom. I don't know why. We do sleep with the windows open, but there is a mesh there. I've had the pest control guy come out. When was it? Maybe it was still this summer. So he came out. He looked at the mesh and he goes, "There's no way the mosquitoes are coming through there. It's not a fly wire. It's a stainless steel mesh. So it's like a security screen as well. So it's a little bit bigger than a fly wire. But he said, regardless, the mosquitoes aren't. I showed him some of the mosquitoes. He goes, they're not going to fit through that. So it's not through there. I've siliconed up around all the window frames because sometimes there was some gaps. So I've siliconed up all around the window frames. I've blocked off the drains in our bath because we don't have a door that blocks off our bathroom to the bedroom. It's just an opening in the wall. So I've blocked off all the floor drains because I thought maybe they were coming through there. So they're all blocked off. The only thing that's open are the fans, and they vent to the roof space. But the fans have baffles or flaps on them. So when you turn the fan off, you can hear them bump, 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 and they close. I'm certain there's still going to be a gap. They can't close to the point where mosquitoes can't come through. But the pest control guy said he sprayed in the roof. He said that there's no way they're coming from in the roof. So he goes, they're probably not coming from the fans because there's no reason for them to be in the roof. He went in the roof and he said there's no water, there's nothing in there. So they wouldn't be there. So it's a mystery. He didn't even know. We've put up with this since we've been here. You wake up, well, they wake you up by biting your legs and all sorts of stuff. And so that's the only thing that kind of works, that attracts them big time. And like every morning you empty it and there's 5, 10, 15 mosquitoes some nights. It just depends. So this works, but it's just a bit too loud. And I don't really mind it, but my missus is a little bit sensitive to the noise. So what we're going to do is incorporate this, because this works. Use this new fan. Obviously it's going to be bigger than this, but hopefully catch more mozzies. And I've got a UV light, which is the same voltage as this. So all I have to do is, obviously I'm not going to have these grates here. They don't need to be here. Nothing's ever going to hit it. You want it a bit more open, I suppose. I've just got to break in. Actually, no, that's not going to work because I'll have to probe. So these two wires split up, and obviously when you, like, that would be 5 volt, that might be 4 volt, and that might be 3 volt, something like that. So I'll have to figure out. This runs on 3 AAAs from memory, so that's just a UV 365 nanometers, which is apparently what mosquitoes like. I'm not using this whole thing. I'm just going to use this bit. hopefully that'll work. Just run some power to it, whatever power it is. So yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to take this metal grate off. We'll start it now. I don't have any of the wood, unless I've got... No, I don't have anything. No, I'll have to buy some wood, so we're definitely not going to finish it today. I just want to sort out the wiring, that's all. Actually, that's quite a nice fan. Pushes a fair bit of air. So yeah, so what I want to do is get some squares of wood, or a long plank, cut them into squares. Obviously bigger than this, because you're going to need this to fit into it, this fan here. And then they might be, if I can get 30 mil thick, 20 mil thick, whatever I can get, and I'll just cut a whole heap of squares to the height that I need it, and then cut the square. Or yeah, I think I'll cut the square. I think just leave it as a square for simplicity. Then cut a circle so that this can go in, and then in one of the squares this will mount in, and then some more squares, and then just router it so it's got a bit of an inlet, so it's not too sharp of an edge, and it's sucking in over the edges, and obviously so it's sucking this side, blowing this side, and that's it, and hopefully we can make that work. I've got a 3D printer. I'm trying to sell it at the moment. I can't be bothered. Designing something. By the time I've designed it, I could probably whip something up in wood. It doesn't have to be pretty. I might even have a look around and see if I've got something round, plastic, something that might work, and just modify it. But that's kind of the idea. A bit of a gap here. This thing to fit in. This should be quite easy. It's got some little keyways here that this thing just goes into. So be able to make something out of some thin metal. Yeah, and as long as I can get this light running off this power, it should only be the one cord coming out of it, and that's it. So yeah, what I'll do, I'm pretty sure, so you can kind of tell here, there's your 3 batteries. So the middle is positive, and trying to figure it out here. Yeah, and that's negative. So, and then the negative is the casing. So the negative is this silver bit around, and the positive is that spring, I'd say. So what I need to do is break into these, use a multimeter, figure out what the voltage is at different things here, because this adds up 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 volt, which is perfect because this is 5 volt. So I'm pretty sure if you run 5 volt to this, it'll be fine. I don't think half a volt's going to make a difference. But like I said, I'm probably not going to run it at high. I'll probably run it at medium. So that may be 4 volts, and then this will still work. So, and that's going to be our light. I don't think I'll make it any smaller than that. I don't know if I can actually. Let's have a look. Nah, I don't want to go chopping it too. I could probably take all this thread off and make it a bit smaller, but I think we'll make it work because it'll be the same as this. I'll have a handle with this, or up. I don't know. Yeah, maybe up. Might pay to put it facing up towards something, and then everything comes to that. These face to the side, so I don't think it really matters as long as you've got some type of light. I mean, you could even make it side mounted like that and build this into the side, and they're going to come anyway for that light and then get sucked in. So let me probe some lights. I won't do that on camera because that's boring. Yeah, I'll just quickly solder a couple little wires to that, and then break into that, figure out the voltage, and I'll let you know if it all works, and then we'll go from there. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I've got to angle it a bit funny because of the reflection from the light, but yeah, I can see the board that this is soldered to, and that's top speed, 4.8 volt, so that's perfect for that light. And then medium, 3.7, so it looks like it's just dropping a volt. And then low, 3 volt. Okay, so a little bit less there. But yeah, we can run it on high and it'll safely run the light. So yeah, and then I suppose another way you could check it is, if you can see that multimeter now. There you go, 4.8. That works out absolutely spot on. So they're fully charged batteries. Well, they're not chargeable, but yeah. So 4.8 volt there and 4.8 volt at those wires there. So don't need them anymore. So that's good. Let me put some tiny little wires. I'll just do a bit of solder work here, just so we got some fly lead coming out, and then we can hook it up to this light. It'd be really nice actually to get into this. I just can't see a way of getting into it. Because I don't need this outer casing. All I need is that board. I might actually get my little angle grinder and just grind down all of that, because we don't need that thread. So I'll get back to you. Oh, you guys could not see what I was talking. See how thick the thread is? So I could actually cut it through here with the angle grinder. Yeah, I think I might do that, because that's just too big to have hanging around. Yeah, cool. Alright, I'll do that and I'll get back to you. Yeah, bit of a win, bit of a fail. So it worked. I've got the wires hooked up, 4.8 volts coming out of that, but for some reason it didn't like the way I connected it. So the light's in there now. So we'll go and order another one. Instead of buying a torch, I think I'm going to buy. It got really hot and melted. I was only supplying the 4.8 volts to it, but it just didn't like it. So I don't know. Doesn't matter. They're only cheapy ones anyway. I've actually got another UV light. So just a single bulb. I've got the that UV curing glue. So I probably could get into this. Kind of don't want to break it though. That's the only thing, because this one works good. And I don't know. This is 3.7 volt. Yeah, okay, so that'll work. Do I risk it? Yeah, let's have a look. So positive is that one. There we go. See how it's... There we go. So that'll work. The other one worked for a little while. I'll just leave this on a bit. Yeah, see, that's getting really hot. That's what happened to the last one. It doesn't get that hot with the... Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. So obviously there's some current limiting going on. Yep, that's stone cold. I've got my hand. I couldn't even hold my finger on it before. Okay, so that's the drama. Okay, so if I'm gonna do it, so there must have... I've chucked it out now, but there must be a diode somewhere, or a resistor. Sorry, limiting the current. When you don't have a resistor, it just lets as much current as the light wants, and that's not good. That's what makes it hot. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll have another search around. I kind of... This is going to be an experiment. I'm no electronics whiz. I know enough to blow stuff up. So what I'll do is I'll jump on Amazon, eBay, whatever, and I'll just try and find a UV globe that has the resistor. So all you have to do is supply it 5 volt or 4.8, whatever. And it'll take care of the rest from there. The only way around it is to, obviously I can't use that old one now, is to eliminate the batteries and keep the whole torch, and that's what I don't want, because I don't have anywhere to keep a whole torch. So because then the resistor would still be in line, and you just take the batteries out and then wire in the wire, so it still thinks it has batteries, but you're just using the wire instead of batteries. That's the next thing to do. But instead of buying a torch, I'm going to see if I can buy a proper globe and yeah, and it'll look after all its own current limiting there. But anyway, we'll get back to this project whenever that new light comes in. So yeah, but this is the way. I don't know enough how to use a multimeter to figure out the resistance to go buy a resistor to put here on one side, and yeah, it is what it is. I'll just blow stuff up. When it doesn't blow up, I know I got it right. So yeah, but that was getting hot, that one, and then when you use that on the battery, which you're still supplying the 4 volts to, it doesn't get hot. So that's what it is. It's a resistor thing. So all good. Anyway, I'll get back to you when I finally find a solution for a light. And I'll probably by that stage I would have bought some wood, or I got to have a look around. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, like, you could use a bucket. It's not going to look very nice. That's why my thinking was make it out of wood. I've got some nice oil, so you know, you could really make it look nice. And being wood, it's a little bit more like it might absorb the sound a bit, and you won't get that resonance like out of a thin bit of plastic. So yeah, I think I'll keep with the wood idea. I'll go to Bunnings, find some, like that's a 140mm fan, so I'll probably need some 200mm wide wood, big plank of it, and then cut it into 200 by 200 squares, and then, you know, cut the bits out, stack them on, cut them out, the bit that you need, obviously a circle for that to fit in, and then a square for that to fit in, and then make it look nice on the outside. That's my thinking anyway. Hopefully that makes sense, but when I start making it, you'll see what I'm doing. But yeah, anyway, I'll see when I get the light, whatever solution I come up with. Alright, morning everyone. We'll check the temperature first before we get into the video. It's pretty cool actually today, really nice. It's only 17 degrees, really nice. I'll put a screenshot into the weather. It was quite funny. If you like nice weather, might as well just move to Perth. You'll see why in the screenshot. It's 20, I think it was 26 every single day for a week, and 10 or 11 at night time. It's the most consistent weather I've ever seen. So we're making the continuing on with the Mossi VAC 3000. I've called it. So yeah, in a while, if you want to buy one, they'll probably be out in the market under that name. Probably not. Anyway, let's see where we're at. So it's all running. I've got the UV light. I don't know if the camera might not show that up, but anyway, that UV light's on at the moment. Fans in and running. Let's have a look. Yeah, so 47-ish, kind of top or bottom. I'll have to go back in the video to see what the old one was. That was a while ago now. I think this is going to turn out to be quite a long-term project, due to the fact that I really don't want to go putting much more effort into it, just in case it doesn't work or it's too loud or whatever. I don't think it's going to be too loud. I'm pretty sure it's quieter than the original. I've got to work out this wire here. Tuck it in there so I can really get it in, but it's a nice tight fit. It won't need any glue, no screws, nothing. So the main thing, so obviously you need air to come out, because otherwise there's no airflow. So I probably could have made this a bit neater. I probably didn't need to be routed out with the angle grinder, but I did it. Whatever, I can make it. That it's not even glued in, that bottom bit, so that can be changed. The only reason I did that is because the wood I've got is 20mm thick. So if I hadn't have done that, it probably wouldn't have been a big drama. It would have looked a bit funny. But see, now going back, I probably should have made it bigger so that it would come out flush here. So that might be the V2. But what I want to do is make sure that this is actually going to work. All these openings, I wanted to get my router and put a massive big radius on them. I wanted to radius all those edges inside. I'm probably not going to do I could do the inside, but I wouldn't be able to do it with the router. It'll have to be with an angle grinder or a file or something like that. But just take that edge off. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then also I want to route these corners, obviously sand all this, That's just got a bit of filler in, or a bit of glue left over from the join. But everything came up pretty good. I've glued it and nailed it, so it's quite strong. But definitely want to make up a new base plate for it. You can see there, it's not, yeah, it should really come flush. Even if I used some MDF, some thin MDF, and then cut a hole in to accept the cage, the basket, that would work even better. It doesn't need to be pine, so I might do that and just make it with that. Obviously put some rubber feet on it, so that way it absorbs any vibrational noise and makes it doesn't transfer it to the bench that we're going to be putting it on. Give it a nice clean up and everything, but I think as it stands now, I'll probably just hot glue that light to that, and then that way it's all, I can actually feel, yeah, that's really gonna, oh, I just saw a piece of dust. I don't know if you could see that on the camera, but a piece of dust just got flicked up and went straight in. So that's pretty cool. It's definitely got more suction, and that, yes, that's on the high setting, and it's as quiet as. So if we were to put it on the low setting, that's off. So I can still feel wind about here. I can still feel wind rushing around in. So if we were to check that, because that's really the speed of the old one. .42. That's a lot. Very quiet. That's really good. Even on the medium. Yeah, you can feel wind here. If I wet my hand, I reckon I'd feel it back here. You can feel a temperature change about there, which is what, 150 mil away. So it's going to be really sucking them in. It's going to be good. But yeah, so I think I'm going to leave it at this. You guys won't see any of this video until it's completely finished, and it's going to be months away because now we're in winter and there's no mosquitoes around. So yeah, it's really, I kind of picked the wrong time to build it. I kind of picked this time to build it. I did it a little bit strategically because I needed that basket out of the machine we were using, and I didn't want to pull apart that machine until I knew we were done for mosquitoes for the year. So I think this is just going to sit as is. I'll mention it in an upcoming video that would get released a lot quicker, and you'll see it. But testing, I don't want to put any more time into it by routing these edges, making it look really nice. I want to stain it. I want to oil it, or maybe stain it and oil it. I want to make some kind of handle for it, whether that's out of wood or metal, probably out of wood. And I want to make something out of wood to hold that nicely, like that. So that way the mosquitoes get attracted to that light straight in the middle and straight in. Probably doesn't need a handle actually. I might just make a nice piece of wood to house this, and that's it. Make the wiring a bit neater, things like that. Route the edges, fill in the holes where the nails are. I don't want to do any of that until I know this is working, because otherwise it's a lot of time. This has only taken me about 2 hours to get to this stage, if that. Probably about an hour without all the cleaning up and setting up. So it's only an hour of work I got in it at the moment. As you can probably tell, it looks like something Homer Simpson made, like his spice rack. But I can make it look a lot nicer. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to put any more time or effort into it unless I know it works. So I think we'll leave it at that. Like I said, in the next video, I don't know what it's going to be. I'll show it working, so that way you know what I've been up to. But yeah, you're not going to see it finished until summertime, which is September, October, yeah, maybe November. October, November, December, that's about when the Mossi start. So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. So there's no point me saying much more in this video, because like I said, it's not going to come out until end of the year. Yeah, so got this yesterday. Really good. That's what I've just been using to screw this together a little bit. So yeah, very good. The only thing is it doesn't fit in my pipe rack thing here, so that is going to have to be a modification that I make to that. But yeah, like I said, this video is not coming out for months, so it'll probably be done by then, maybe. We'll see. But anyway, let's leave it at that. Let's not make this video any longer than it has to be. I'm going to clean up here, The boys are playing as usual, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. Yeah, I think it's going to work. It's literally doing exactly the same thing than the original one was. The only thing is it's doing it with a faster fan speed, quieter, and a stronger UV light. It's using the same basket, so yeah, should be good. But anyway, yeah, I'll put a noise difference. I can't remember. I think it was up around 50 dB, and now it's at 42 on the medium speed. So that's a massive drop. That's like almost 9 dB, which is almost 3 times quieter than the old one. So yeah, really good. So anyway, we'll catch you in like 6 months. See you soon. All right, morning everyone. Sunday morning, nice weather. It's going to be a hot one today. I think we're going to crack 30 today. I'll put a screenshot in. I think it's going to be 30 for most of the week. So I think winter is done and dusted for the year. The wind has been... I've just gotten back in. So yeah, this bit you're seeing right now is like 8 months after the last clip. I kind of finished it off at the end of last summer. And the mosquitoes stopped, so I haven't had a chance to try it. I have now. The mozzies are kind of back now for summer. So yeah, it's been about I think it was like April, March of beginning of 2025 was the last clip, and we're into kind of mid-November at the moment. So yeah, it's been a while. But anyway, I kind of tried it out the other night. I left it outside here. We haven't had many mosquitoes inside, maybe 1 or 2 over the last kind of month, but not enough to try to see if it works. But there are some outside. I've been noticing them outside, so I left it outside for the whole night. You're seeing the photo now. It cleaned up, absolutely cleaned up. I was pretty impressed by how much. And when I actually took it was first thing in the morning. When I took it apart, probably half of them actually flew away. They were still alive in there. So yeah, a lot of them got away, but the ones you see there was probably double that amount. So yeah, it worked really, really well. So pretty happy with that. So that was just proof of concept. It is going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it off now. Not in this video. So this video, I'm going to lock it off here. It's getting long enough. Really, I'm not going to change a lot of it apart from... I am getting a 3D printer now, so it's going to make this job a little bit easier rather than have this bit that I'm not really a fan of. I mean, it's okay, but it could be a lot better. So yeah, if you have a look at that, that's just a thick bit of wood that I've got the angle grinder on and shaped it. It's as best as I could do with what I had. But now that I'm going to be getting this, I haven't got it yet, so now that I'm going to be getting this 3D printer, I've already designed this bit up. So it's the right size, the right cutout for the hole there, and it should all just fit. So this just goes like that. That's all that's for. That just sits in there like that, guides the air out of it. Probably might make it a little bit quieter. I don't know. The air is not hitting a flat surface. It's kind of running down and out the machine. So yeah, I designed that the other day. You'll see a picture of it now. Took all of 5 minutes. It's very easy. You just drag a cube. Proportionate to the proportions that you want, size it up, and then put in some I don't know what they'd be called. Yeah, anyway, a shape, turn it into a hole. It cuts this bit out, move it around 90, move them around, and good enough. I then just now I've watched back the previous half an hour of footage that I've already had from 8 months ago, and I realised that is the wrong. Not totally wrong, but if you see there how it fits, it kind of doesn't fit how I want it to fit. And it's not entirely, it's 3 mil off being square, so it only fits one way, which is okay. It doesn't fit that way. Doesn't fit that way, so it's not square either. But that's okay. It will be once I 3D print it. So it fits in like that. So what I really want it to do, and I did mention it in the video, you guys have just seen it, I want it to come flush with this here. So easy enough. I didn't really measure it. So I'm going to put in a video pretty soon of how easy it is to adjust things on Tinkercad there. There are much more complicated online CAD things to do, but I'm not using them. Okay, so I think I made it 160. So it's going to have to be bigger, up to like close to 180. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It's literally pressed back until you get back to this shape, size it to 180, and then put that cubed hole back in and just make a cutout for measure these up. I didn't have this with me, so I didn't know what to. It was in here. I just quickly did it so you could see how easy it was to just make it bigger and then put in a cutout for the legs. And that's it. But now, what I'll do is I'll just go press back a couple times till I get back to that original shape, and then resize it to the 180 instead of the 160, and then measure up the legs and make the cutout for them. So super easy to modify. So the next video will be 3D printing the parts for it. I think that's the only part I'm going to print. I am going to keep it wood. There's no point 3D printing this part out of plastic because I'm not going to make it that thick. It would take probably 2 rolls of filament to make it that thick, and a roll of filament's about $30. So there's no point doing that. And probably wood will absorb the resonant sound a lot better than what plastic would. But I will make this part out of plastic down the bottom. Everything else I'm going to keep as is. I might make a nice little top bit just here to hide this light a bit better. I might just make it come up and then a cutout for the light, but otherwise it's not going to win design awards, that's for sure. But it does work and it's practical, so that's more what I'm going for. So it's not going to look like this. Obviously, I'm gonna flatten and sand and get my router round all the corners to make it all rounded. Even in here, I'll get the router. I'm going to trim these up much nicer, the air outlets down the bottom. It's not going. I'm not going to keep it as bad as looking. This is just to make sure it works. We'll make it look a lot nicer. I've got some stain and some oil, and I'll stain and oil it. So that'll look really good. And then the only other thing I'm going to probably use a 3D printer for is to make something to hold this in. So bit hard to do one-handed, but so that will go in. What I'll do is I'll raise this off the deck a little bit. It can go as high as that, like that. And then I'm just going to 3D print a little, like a tag, probably just 4 of them or 3 of them, or maybe even just 2. 2 will do. And just one on the opposite corners like that, and that'll hold that to that. And then you just probably just flick the tags, and then you can pull this out to empty it in the morning. Easy as that. But this won't be. This will eventually be glued in. And then this bit here, I know it looks funny, but it does work when the fan is on. It's probably not going to work too good now to show you. It'll probably go up if anything, but when the fan's on, this kind of skirt kind of drags into the fan and seals it right up, and it sits in here, so it seals up quite nice. Having the 3D printer, it wasn't on the cards 8 months ago, but it is now. So, that's going to make this look a lot nicer. So, you don't need a handle for it, so I don't need a 3D printer handle. It is literally, it's going to make that much better. I've actually made it higher. I think this is only like 20 mil, if that. I've made the new one 30 mil, so it'll go right up and then down. Nice sweepy kind of things, and they're all going to be the same. These aren't the same. These are just what I could do with the angle grinder disc that I had. It's going to look heaps better. Rounded corners. Hopefully, you're still going to see the end grain, but it'll be smooth with no pen mark and stained and oiled. So should look nice. This fan is not even glued in. It's literally a press fit. It's such a tight fit. I might just put a little bit of glue just to hold it. Probably make it flush with the top like that nicely. Just a couple of dabs of super glue or some kind of glue, I don't know. Just in case it breaks, you want to change it, you can just, with a knife and then you could quite easily just take it out, service it, put a new fan in, whatever. They're not going to last forever. They're going to be running 10 hours, 8 hours a night, every night during summer. So yeah, it's not going to last forever. So you want to make the parts unclickable and removable and serviceable and swap them out. Same with that light. I don't think that light's going to last a long time. So that's why I don't want to put a lot of effort into building it in, because you're going to have to change it at some point. It might even be a case of make a nice little thing out of 3D print, and this just fits in. You can see there's like a bit of a raised lip there, so you can make it just fit in nice. One dollop of hot glue, and you're done. Hide all these wires nice, and then if this ever does break, you just undo the wiring, break your hot glue, and slip her out from the front. Slip in a new one. Done. So yeah, easy. But yeah, there's not much more I can say. So yeah, I'm gonna this video I've had sitting on my computer since April, and I can't believe I haven't deleted it. It's just been sitting in a folder, and I've put it kind of off to the side on the desktop, so I don't delete it, because that's an interesting one. I reckon that's pretty cool to buy something, beef it up, and make it better. So that's pretty cool. And now that I know that it works, that was unbelievable. So yeah, it's definitely going to work. So yeah, no, it's good. So yeah, we'll leave this video here. It's November, and this video won't come out to early January. So I'm way ahead for some reason on videos. I'm only trying to release one a week. I think that's what my drama was last time. I was doing 2 or 3 a week, kind of as I've done them. So I'm kind of backlogging them a bit. I'm thinking of taking maybe January, February off a little bit. Not that it's hard work and I need time off. I enjoy making the videos, and it's not an issue for me. But yeah, I might just take a bit of time off and only make videos about something that really pops up. I can't see. I don't know what's happening next week, let alone in 3 months' time. So yeah. Could be anything, so all good. A 3D printer, so I ordered a bit disappointing actually. It's a Bamboo Lab A1. Ordered it. Took me about 2 hours to find the person I wanted to order it from. There are a few different people in Australia, none in Perth. Can't get one in person in Perth. You can get from the Bamboo Lab store in Sydney. It's on special. Talking to my mate at the park where I fly remote control aeroplanes, he paid full price for his, but he got free shipping. So and it was there in 2 days, 3 days I think, from Sydney to Perth. So I was like, okay. So I went to Bamboo Labs. It's currently the Black Friday specials. It's like $240 off, but they want you to pay $100 shipping. So yeah, not paying $100 shipping. So I found another place. They're all very similar, or they're all the same price. No matter where you buy it from now, they're all the same price, apart from eBay and Amazon. I dare say on the 18th of November, it's not quite the 18th of November, but that's when the Black Friday sales on Amazon start. I probably should have waited, and I would have been in a better boat. I should have just bought it off Amazon, and I would have got it in like probably same day or next day. But yeah, I'm just too impatient, and I didn't wait. I found another mob. I can't even remember what they're called. They're like an online school supply store for technology, and they're selling these 3D printers, and it was only $35 delivery. So I did it through them, said it was in stock, got an email saying, yep, confirmed, no worries. And then I got an email, not a generic email, an actual email from a person saying, so sorry, we thought we had stock, we don't. It's going to be two to 3 weeks now until we get stock to be able to send it to you. Do you want a refund, or do you want to continue waiting? And initially I said refund, and then I rang him and I said, look, I've just gone through my emails. You said you had it in stock. I had 3 emails saying that it was in stock and ready to go, and now we're going to ship it. And then you said it wasn't. And the guy said, he was pretty nice. He's like, yeah, no, I fully understand. Sorry about that. We've had a big kerfuffle with our supplier. And I said, oh, so where do you get them from? And he said, direct through Bamboo Labs. That's where yours would have come from. We don't ship them. We sell them as an agent, and then Bamboo Labs fulfill our orders direct from their Sydney store. So I said, so if I cancel my order now with you and order directly from Bamboo Labs, what's the go? And he said, oh, you'd be in the same boat because they don't have stock either. I think they've just been overwhelmed with the sales. So I was like, oh, so there's no point me cancelling my order with you, putting an order through Bamboo Labs, paying $100 shipping and still having to wait 2 to 3 weeks. And he said, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I said, okay, well, disregard that last statement then, that I want a refund, and I'll continue waiting the 2 to 3 weeks. He said, yep, no worries. Yep. He goes, it's more likely going to be 2 weeks than 3 weeks, but just in case, I'm saying 3 weeks. So I said, okay, no worries. So it's already been a week. So, yeah, doesn't matter. So I'll wait for that. I've got a lot of projects, actually. I've almost always had a 3D printer. I've sold my last FDM printer, which is, the hot plastics, like toothpaste coming out. I sold that about a year ago. So I haven't had one for a long time, but I've had 2 or 3 previous. So it's not my first 3D printer. Right now I've got a resin printer. They're okay. The only reason I got the resin printer was I was getting right into making those dioramas. If you go right back to the first video, probably right back to the first video, you'll see I hadn't started the channel when I made the diorama. It was one of a Tirana inside a garage, which I still have now, and all the parts in there, apart from the Tirana, were 3D printed. Some were made out of balsa wood, like the benches and stuff, but all the tools, and you can see how small they are. There's no chance you're doing that with an FDM printer. I needed a resin printer, and they'd come down in price. I mean, they started off at $1,000, and they're down to $250, $300 now. I think I only paid $250 for that one I got. It's only a 2K, it's not a 4K. They're up to 16K now. Okay, whatever. The only thing is the mess it makes is just next level. I had like 3 failed prints, I think. It worked almost every time flawlessly. I used water washable resin too, so it doesn't smell really at all when it's doing its business. And to process the part when it comes out, you literally rinse it in water. You don't need to use isopropyl alcohol, and it just makes the price of everything go up once you start using that stuff. It was okay, but it just made an absolute mess, and it's no good to get on your skin. It's really, really bad for your skin because it's a liquid. You get it on your skin, you come outside, the thing dries and it turns to splinters, like it turns to a solid. It's exactly what it's doing in the printer there. So I kind of stopped using it. It was just too much effort, just messy. I just couldn't be bothered. And then I realised that the FDM printer was the way to be. The only thing is they didn't really make a good FDM. I had an Ender 3 V2, I think it was, and I had the BL Touch auto bed leveling on there. You've got to program it in. I know people have already done it, and you just got to splice that bit of programming into your code. I just can't. I can't be bothered. It worked, and then it didn't work, and then every print I had to raise it, 0.3 of a mil. I don't know why. And I sold it, and that was it. Then these Bamboo Labs come out. They're more closed. You can't play with anything of the code of the printer. It's not open source. It's closed, proprietary, whatever they use. The thing just works. It pretty much works all the time. So, there's no... If you're into 3D printing, you know what I'm talking about. Like everything you add or subtract or change on the printer is a variable. So you have to recalibrate it almost every time when you do something. Whereas with these things, you just tell it that you've bought Bamboo Labs PLA red filament, and it goes, yep, sweet. We've already done all the calcs for that. So this is your flow rate, and there you go. And the thing comes out spot on. You can't even see any lines. This is the bed I have, because there's different plates for... You might have a plate that's better with ABS and a plate that's better with PLA, a plate that's better with TPU filament, and you just tell it, I've got this plate with that thing. Yep, I don't think I can even adjust the bed temperature. You probably can, but it just does it. It just changes the bed temperature, the nozzle temp, the speed, the flow rate, everything fully compensated for. And you don't... I've watched videos of people that have never had a 3D printer, and they've put it together in 45 minutes, and they've printing a benchy, like the little boat thing that you normally print first thing, and it comes out. I've never printed a good one, put it that way, and I've been mucking around with them for years and calibrating them and spent hundreds of hours trying to fix them and make them better, and I've never had a benchy that's come out perfect. The window is the hardest bit for me, the window and the chimney. I know it just looks like a little kid's toy of a boat, but if you actually look, it's called a benchy for a reason, and it's got specific angle overhangs. The window being round, it's printing mid-air, not mid-air, but it's kind of staggering itself up to print and bridge mid-air. The chimney is straight up, and then it has a like a full 90-degree overhang. So, it's a really good test to see how good your printer is. And these things are just spitting it out 45 minutes after coming out the box by a person that's putting it together that's never touched a 3D printer before. I'm like, Jesus, okay. That's the one to get for me then. That sounds like my jam. It's kind of like these aeroplanes. So the aeroplanes I got here are plug and play, and that's pretty much what the printer is. So you buy them kind of like that. You put your spar in, connect your wing. All the wiring's done, everything's done. I'm more than capable of putting a plane together from scratch and choosing what servos to put and choosing a motor and a speed controller and figuring out where the battery's got to go. I can do it. I just don't want to do it. I just want to throw them together, put a battery in them and go have fun with them. I don't want to sit there, mucking about, and it's just too much effort. And then you don't enjoy the actual end outcome. So yeah, that was the part of that. But yeah, I've got a list of Bamboo Labs has its own webpage of pre-designed things by users. So for example, what can we think of here? Say you lose this thing that stops it getting sucked in. You can just type in extension cord, retractable extension cord limiter ball or something, and something similar to this will pop up. It's on because it's owned by Bamboo Labs. You're browsing it. You can do it on your phone actually. On your phone actually works a lot better, but you can do it on the computer. The printer is actually connected to your Wi-Fi network. No cables at all apart from a power cable. And then you go, oh yeah, that's the one I want because it's very similar for whatever reason to the one I've got, And you just go, yep, that's the one. And you just go, it's got a list of printers. So it's got this part. Other people may have downloaded it, and they have different printers, Bamboo Lab printers. So it's got a list of all the printers that have printed this part before with preferred settings. And mine's called an A1. So I just click on A1, send to printer, and I could be somewhere else in the world and come home and it's printed for me. So pretty cool. But yeah, there's lots of things, and then that program that you've seen there that I mucked around with that's called Tinkercad. So if you do search something and it doesn't exist, or you can't find the specific one you want, you just make it yourself. It's easy. Like that would be easy to do. You just a ball, split it in half, create drag the cylinder that's a hole, measure the power cord, maybe give it a bit of like 0.5 mil extra than what the power cord measures to be, run it through the middle, split the circle there or the sphere into 2 pieces, put some bolt holes if you want to, otherwise drill it later and you're done. So it wouldn't be too hard to make. But yeah, I got some detailing tools I want to make. I've got so we've got some lights around the house that are motion activated. So when you're walking kind of from the kitchen back to our bedroom, there's like 3 lights that turn on. They're hidden underneath tables and stuff. The only thing is one of them or 2 of them, one's near the coffee machine. So if you walk in the kitchen, I only want that light to come on when you're mucking around the coffee machine at night time. But when you walk in the kitchen, it turns on and off all the time. It's a pain. So I want to print some deflectors so that the motion sensor is kind of contained. It's like a blocker for the motion sensor. So it only comes on if you get closer to the coffee machine. We've got another one in our bedroom. So if you get up to go to the toilet at night time for whatever reason, you kind of don't want that one to come on because they are quite bright. But when I want it to come on as you walk into the bedroom, but not as you go from the bed to the toilet. So yeah, I'm just going to make a nice little round deflector, hot glue it on, and you're done. We need a new caddy. That's what this thing is out here. So we bought these caddies. So I don't know why, but shower caddies are always metal and they rust. I don't get why they make them. Finally found this one at Kmart. Full plastic, obviously not going to rust. And then I was like, well, I could probably use these bits because these are not too bad. This is a bit flimsy and like not even straight. I could probably think of a better system to 3D print something up. And same deal, you could print the buckets that you put your shampoo and soap in and out of the 3D printer stuff. But then the main frame you could make out of wooden dowel and oil it and make it look quite nice. So yeah, Mrs. wants some hooks to go over the shower so we can put our towels on, because right now we throw the towels over the top, so half the towel's kind of in the shower with you and it gets wet sometimes. So she wants some hooks that clip on the top of the shower that you can hook your towel on, still get to it, but at least your towel's not in the shower. So yeah, so there's heaps of stuff. I mean, yeah, I'll do it when I get it and I get kind of used to using it. I'll do another video on how easy it is to suss out a problem that you've got and fix it with 3D printing. It's really good. So yeah, and it's if you use Tinkercad, it's so easy to design stuff. Yeah, very easy. There's Fusion 360, and then there's another one. I can't remember what it's called. It's the main one I use, but not the main one. Main one's Tinkercad. Most of the stuff I need to print is quite simple. So if I can do it in Tinkercad, I'll do it in Tinkercad because it'll take me 10 minutes. You can do it in Fusion 360. I just don't know how to use Fusion 360 enough. And if I did, it would take me an hour. So yeah, I can't be bothered learning Fusion 360. Yeah, anyway, but there's another one called I can't remember. I'll put a screenshot in. It's very similar to Fusion 360, cloud-based, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's a bit easier to learn. But and it's very similar to Fusion 360, but I think it's a little bit. Fusion 360 does tool control for CNC. It's next level. It's pretty good for free. But this other one doesn't. I don't think does it. But it's a little bit simpler to learn. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try and learn a little bit on that. But I always find myself going back to Tinkercad. There's not much you can't do with Tinkercad. But I'm sure if you know how to use Fusion 360 or this other one, like really good, you wouldn't use Tinkercad because it's just too basic. It's like Duplo, Lego, and you know how to do Technics Lego. You're not going to go back to Duplo, whereas I only kind of know Duplo, so that's what I stick with. But yeah, it should be good fun. There's a multitude of things. That plane here, actually, the first thing I want to do, I won't bring it down, but the Sportix there, the battery tray leaves a lot to be desired for. It's not very well thought out. It's the straps are in the wrong spot. I've had to add another strap to it because to get the plane to balance with the batteries I have, I've got to have it a little bit more forward. So the back strap is not even on the battery. So it's only being held by one strap. So I've added another strap. It's still not ideal, but that's one thing I'm going to do is I'll take all my straps and their straps out, measure up their battery compartment, and then I'll print another battery tray that fits in there, but that can have straps in the correct spot, and that'll fix that problem then. The Cessna, I'm still waiting on a motor for the Cessna, so yeah, that hasn't come in yet. It should be here next week. Apparently it's in the mail. Glider's going really good. I flew that on Friday and it was up for probably close to 45 minutes. And I landed only because the flies were getting really bad and I was getting a bit hot standing out in the sun for 45 minutes. Landed, checked the battery, still had 75% battery left. So I'd only used the battery to get up and I was hitting thermals everywhere. It was unbelievable. In one spot, it was just like an elevator. So I'd get down to about 130 meters and then I'd jump in the thermal, go up to about 280, 260. And then I'd fly around everywhere, go and try and find another one. And then, yeah, it'd tell me that I'm at, every minute I've got it set up to tell me the battery voltage and the current height. So then I'd hear it say, 130, 160. So then I'd fly back over to that corner, jump in the thermal, go back up again. It was crazy. So yeah, really good. That was probably one of the best days for thermals I've had in a long time. It's big. It's 2.5 meter wingspan, so you can see it for ages. So yeah, no drama seeing it at 280 meters high. It's no problems. I've got one wing that's got a big black sticker under it, and the other wing is white, so you can see orientation quite well. It's pretty good. But yeah, hanging to fly the Cessna. I've only flown that once or twice, I think, and that's with that broken motor. And then I said, no, I'm not going to fly it anymore. just in case the motor does quit and then I crash the plane, and then they do send me a new motor. So I'm waiting for the new motor now for that. Sportix is good. It's not the best plane I've flown. Aerobatic, well, pattern plane, the Angel, the Seba Angel is 10 times better than that. But I mean, for the price, and you get everything, and it's 5 minutes to build it. Yep, it's good, not bad, good plane. I'm getting the balance kind of sorted. So it's only getting better. I didn't like it on the first couple of flights. It felt really, you just couldn't fly straight. It was like a car that always wanted to drift left or right, but this was going up, down, left and right. I've kind of got it on rails now, but it's taken a long time. So it's not done yet. I'm going to get it a bit better. I'm still playing with the control movements. Yeah, it's just a little bit touchy, a little bit this and that. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'll get there. But the Cessna flies, that flew beautifully on the first flight. It was really nice. Same with the glider. Really nice. The glider, you can feel it feels heavy. That's the only thing. Gliders are meant to be light, but being heavy, it can kind of fly in wind, which is good. And it still thermals really well, as the evidence was last week. So if you have a light glider, kind of like the one I have above it there, you're kind of limited in the wind you can fly it in. You can't fly it in heavy wind. So it kind of is better to have a big, heavy glider too. Not that it's like overly heavy, it's just a bit heavy. So yeah. What else is going on? Oh, the water filters. So I've changed them over, the whole house water filters. Yeah, that's a previous video, I'm pretty sure. Not one drip. I can't believe it, but there was not one drip. On the day after, it's been probably 4 days we've had them, and not one drip of water. I couldn't believe it, because I've had to undo all the fittings and yeah. Anyway, and then the guy sent me the instructions. He goes, "Oh, I realised we didn't send you the instructions. Here they are in PDF." And I'd already installed it by this stage. I had a quick read, and it says, "Do not use Teflon tape," because I did mention it had a big rubber seal at the base. So it's got the thread and then a big rubber seal at the base where they screw down to. I shouldn't have used it, because it says there if you put too much, you can crack the housing. So I'm glad I haven't cracked the housing. I did put a lot, but that tape was very, very thin. It wasn't the thick stuff that I've seen before. This was like some cheap Temu stuff that I got for free when you buy a hose connection for something. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky there. But yeah, if you do kind of do your own DIY kind of water filter thing, it says don't use sealant, don't use that tape, nothing. Because of that rubber seal, it doesn't need it. So yeah, and if you saw me in the video, I was giving it a bit of curry too. So yeah, if you crack it, you got to buy a whole new housing, or at least one new housing, the bit you cracked. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that. But otherwise, it seems to be working. I can tell the difference in quality of filters though. So the filters that came with that, probably not, they're like the bargain basement ones. A lot, it's got a bit of a taste. The water has a bit of a taste. Even 4 days later, we put probably a few thousand, or maybe 1,000 litres through them. I'm not sure. Whereas the old ones were a bit cloudy for 15 minutes. And really the cloud, if you let it sit, it bubbles. It's not cloudy, it's just the bubbles. You see it rise and then it's crystal clear, the water. Zero taste, but if there was a taste, it actually tasted nice. It was like the carbon giving it a nice polished kind of Mount Franklin kind of spring water taste. Whereas this water now doesn't taste of anything. And if anything, when you boil it in the kettle, you can kind of smell a bit of something in it. I'm not sure what it is. So they're the bargain basement filters that came with that housing. So I don't know how long they're going to be in for. If it kind of smartens it up and kind of goes away in another week, I'll give it another week. Then we'll leave them in there. Obviously it takes, because they're not as good filters, it takes longer for them to settle in. But if in a month we're still tasting this taste, they're going to they're going to go. And I've got a set of good quality filters from, I can't remember where I bought them from now, Shield water filters on eBay. Actually, I bought it direct from them. I got a set up there. So I got an anti-scale, a 20 micron and a 5 micron sediment. So yeah, so that's all good. I also just bought another 4 5 micron sediment filters. So the 20 micron pleated filter is washable. The 5 micron is not washable. If you try to wash it with too much pressure, it'll rip. I've done it before. So they're pretty much a throwaway item, and they're the ones that kind of block up the quickest. So I'm thinking every maybe 6 months will be a You leave the anti-scale in. There's no point rinsing that out, so that'll stay in. Take the other two out. You rinse the pleated one at the 6-month mark, and you change the polyspun 5 micron that goes in the bin, and you put a new one in. So that way you get 6 months out of the 5 micron, you get a year out of the anti-scale, and you get a year out of the pleated, but you wash the pleated at the 6-month mark. So I'm going to try that. But yeah, that's why I've just bought another four of them, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, if the taste doesn't go away with that, it's not nice. It tastes almost like chlorine, like the anti-scale is not doing its job. But yeah. You can't taste it cold. Like if you drink cold water from the tap, it's fine. It's only when you boil it. So I've got to do some more. It may be my kettle, but I've just cleaned the kettle as well. So I don't know, not sure. But otherwise, yeah, that is working really good. I'm just hoping that it doesn't crack the housing eventually. But I think if it was going to crack, it would have cracked by now, because I've done them up too tight and I've used the Teflon tape. I don't want to go undoing them, taking the Teflon tape and putting it back, because that might disrupt something and then it will leak or break. So it's not leaking. I'm just going to leave it. And they're not something that you ever have to touch, even to change the filters. They're there permanently, unless I want to change that housing ever again, which I don't think I will, because I can get the filters for a good price. So yeah, so all good. Let's leave it at that. It's getting quite warm out here. So yeah, leave it at that. I'll finish this video. There's probably more talking in this last segment than there was for the whole video, but anyway, that's the way in the shed goes. A lot of yippy yappy. I hope you stick around, but I understand if you don't. If you fast forward, that's cool. It's mainly I do not prep any video. I don't write notes. I don't even think about it. I just pick the camera up and go for it. So yeah, sometimes I'll say one thing and then 5 minutes later in the video I'm doing something totally different. That's because I've changed my mind. That's all it is. And yabbering all the time is me just getting it out of my head, and that's kind of what I was thinking at the time when I was making the video. So yeah, that's all that is. But yeah, there's zero prep. If I had to prep it and write notes and a script, I probably wouldn't do what I do. So yeah, I like the off the cuff and just hit it and get into it and do it. So yeah, all good. Yeah, I'm going to go turn the aircon on, get back inside and finish off the weekend nicely. So see you guys later. Have a good one. Catch ya.